But one thing I know is that it'll rise again. And these are the simple and profound and deep truths you learn about the whole sphere and workings of life. Just by taking a sacred time every day like I do. This is my sacred time. And I'm interrupting it for this video, so you should be grateful for that. But this is my sacred time. Here, with the sun. Here with Jesus, as the word pertains. Jesus, 888 in Greek numerology, the word Jesus created by the Greeks, which means sun in the sky. I'm here with the Son of God. And as I watch that sun pass tonight, I know in my mind, as I say goodnight, that it will rise again. And just as the bad stuff happens and you feel like giving up, you can look at something like that and you can really think to yourself, it doesn't matter, because I know how reality works. And I know right now the sun has set on my health. But I know it'll rise again. And I watch with very grateful eyes as this sun sets. And I wonder if I should adapt myself to have very grateful eyes as the sun sets on my health, because when it rises again, I'll be all the more stronger, all the more cautious, and all the more knowledgeable. But if I give up and forget that it will rise again, I wouldn't be here. This wouldn't be here. All these children wouldn't be eating tonight, wouldn't be sleeping safe tonight. They wouldn't be able to sleep easy without any concern. We've got the Maasai warriors around, the armed guards around. No worries of witch doctors, nothing, no concerns. In this compound, there's no concerns at the moment. Maybe there's a few financial concerns. But it all happens because you don't give up. The same way he's here guarding me every night and every day, because he too never gave up.
Spirit bird, she creaks and groans, she knows she has seen this all before. She has seen this all before. She has. Spirit bird, she creaks and groans, she knows she has.
Arthur. Hello. Hello, Arthur. Oh. Yeah. So this is one of my trusty rescue dogs, Arthur. And I rescued Arthur when I was looking for Angel's Gate, when I was looking for the property. Literally, when I pulled up at the property where we live now, where the boys live now, the one we rented, Arthur was this skinny little skeletal dog walking down the street. So I ran after him and scooped him up and put him in my car. And the vet told me that he would die. And he would die slowly because he was so sick and malnourished, and kindest thing to do was to let him be put to sleep. So I agreed with her professional opinion and said, okay, if he's suffering, then let it be, if that's your call. They then called me half an hour later to say Arthur woke up from the lethal injection and he fought off the injection, which is insane. And he was so small at the time. And now he's that big lump of loving dog that you see here. Arthur. Hello. It kind of leads into something that I was thinking about today. So a few of you have probably already heard that story, I think. Every night in my life here at Featherstail, I come here. And this is my little spot. This is my hammock. And before I get in the hammock, I give thanks to these beautiful trees that support my weight whilst I'm here. And I come here every night to collect myself. Even if stuff's going on, I tell the staff, it's sunset, I can't do this now. And I'll go and I'll watch the sun go down. And I can't count how many sunsets and sunrises I've watched in my life, in Tanzania especially, which I think is important. Too many of us disconnect from this, and the sun is still rising and setting persistently, despite all of the intricate details of human lives that we keep records of. That still goes on. That happened in every human life you've ever read about. The sun rose and the sun set. We live, we die, the sun rises, the sun sets. It's all the same story, expressing and playing out in different ways. But what it reminds me, while I'm laid here watching the sun set, and while I'm laid here with Arthur, who's a true fighter and who truly never gave up, and because of that he blesses our lives with a lot of love these days. He has slight brain damage from what happened, but it's just made him stupendously loyal, and he's always there for me. If I sleep here at night, some nights I sleep here as well. If I'm a bit unwell and Aslan's being a bit noisy, I'll sleep in my hammock, and I sometimes get eaten by mosquitoes, but Arthur and a couple of my other dogs, they always stand guard around me, so no snakes can come up the tree, that's for sure, because these guys will let me know. So. But Arthur never gives up. He truly never gives up, and he's always there by my side. He's always loving me and looking after me, and it makes me think about that concept of giving up. And you know, there's so much going on in the world that we can easily make ourselves insignificant. Like I said, the sun is rising and the sun is setting on every life you've ever read about, every life you've heard about, every person who ever inspired you. To make it as plain as you can about the people who do even extraordinary things. They all are subservient to the rising and falling of the sun. They're all subservient to the rising and falling of seasons. They're all subservient to the fact they have to go to the toilet every day. And this is a good way to humble everything around you, to remember that. And it doesn't matter how spiritually developed you become. And no Breatharians do not exist, and I won't attest to the fact that they do, because otherwise then that makes God a moron. That just because somebody coaxed themselves into not eating food, he's going to let children starve and suffer horrendously because they can't get food. This Breatharian stuff is done by people touting lies, and unfortunately is swallowed by people with good hearts. So there's no way to abide by the rules of life without abiding by similar precepts to everybody. And one of the things is you must use the toilet. Everyone has to use the toilet. Breatharians don't exist. I'm sorry guys, they just don't. No evidence of it whatsoever. And I fasted more than anyone I know in my life. I fasted more than anybody I know. And I can tell you now, without any shadow of a doubt, there's no way of stopping your body from losing weight. It can't be done, and it can't be done. So anyway, we all fall into that sphere of needing to do these daily things, and at the same time, because these massive events are going on, if you really think about them, can make you feel a little insignificant, but you're not. You are not. And giving up should never be an option in any which way, shape or form. Now, life can be tough, you know. You have adversaries who are constantly challenging you and attacking you. This guy's adversary at one point was a lethal injection, and he fought it off, and he was tiny at the time. He fought it off. He wanted to live. Now, my adversary at the moment is my health. I have this horrendous parasite in my bloodstream, which is just destroying me bit by bit. And I feel like giving up. You know, I'm human. I feel like saying, I'm chucking in the towel. I've had enough, as if I ever could. But I feel like it, and I get frustrated at God, and I haven't spoken to God for the last week. I was talking to my friend this morning saying I haven't spoken to God for a week because I've been so frustrated at him. Completely frustrated at God. And I just felt like chucking in the towel and giving up. But then I paused and I said, hang on a minute. Yet again, I fall victim to my carnal mind because I don't know. I really don't know what God's plans are. And I'm fairly sure God didn't want me to be this sick. But I'm also fairly sure from being this sick, I'll be a much stronger person for the rest of my life once I recover. And I shan't have any fear. Because I'll have every tool I need. You know, I can't run at the moment because I get so horrendously sick when I do. I crash. It takes me weeks to recover from a run. I'm stuck in bed with fever and flu and everything else Babesia and Lyme disease does to you. And this is, at first, was very damaging, but now I'm learning new skills. So as life progresses with me here in Tanzania, if I ever get sick again, I'll have those skills stored, whereas if I'd never gotten sick, I'd have always been using my small skill set, my small itinerary, my tools. I'd have been running to overcome stress. Now I have to find new ways to do it. And that's good when I'm dealing with so many disabled persons. I'm the guardian of so many disabled people now. It's unbelievable. I don't even know the number. It's over 60. And if you think about, I need to attach my empathy to those children. And I do a lot now because being stuck on your back, I've started planning the land different. I've even said that we're not building 2 houses on the land because I want to ensure there's space to push wheelchairs around and have a beautiful garden. And I've told God, there's no way I'm overcrowding that land. You'll have to give me money to buy more land. It's for the sake of the children's mental well-being. And I'm sure if I take anything good from this sickness, it will be that. But the bad I've taken from it is this wanting to give up. And the thing is, I believe there's an adversary on this planet, in this sphere of consciousness, that wants me to give up. I believe that, very much so. Does that adversary work with God or independently of God? That's a whole massive philosophical question no one will ever be able to answer. And it'll always be hearsay. It'll always be hearsay whether Satan works with God or against God. According to that adversarial energy makes me grow, and I've said this recently, so what do I do about that darkness? Do I respect it? Well, yes, I do respect it, because if it's just purely an enemy, it's a powerful enemy, and I'm not going to toy with it and play with it and taunt it, because I know how powerful it is, because that enemy has debilitated me to the degree where I'm flat backing most days trying to recover from what's happened to me. So I respect that enemy without any shadow of a doubt. But what I also do at the same time is don't give too much respect, and I allow that enemy to know, yes, you took me out. Yes, I'll give you a mark, I'll chalk up a point for you. You took me out in the whole battle and larger scheme of things. However, what did you achieve by it? You weakened me, and I got to a point where you nearly penetrated my armour, and I was thinking, I just feel like giving up. And I said it to my wife, I just feel like giving up. I don't have the energy to love everybody here. I don't have the energy to exhaust myself anymore. And this was creeping in over the last week with me. But then I realise that as I look around me here, behind me, through this gap, that's a baobab tree, and that is 2. We're calling it Baby Baobab House up to now. We haven't got a proper name for it. And Baby Baobab House is still getting built. The children are still being admitted. And the thing is with this, what I've realised, if this adversarial energy, which has made me the man I am today in some retrospects, along with God pushing me to do what I've done, along with Spirit guiding me throughout, the difference, as I always say, I have Great Spirit, which is Holy Spirit, which runs through the land. Then you have Mother, Father, Creator, which is the creator of that Great Spirit. And the Great Spirit is your connection to Creator. If Great Spirit hadn't guided me and pushed me, and Mother, Father, Creator hadn't pushed me to do what I do, then I wouldn't be what I am. But if that adversary hadn't been chewing at my heels, I would not be the man that I am today. But what I've realised is, despite the fact that adversary's been chewing at my heels a lot, this place has become like a snowball of love. And even if I want to give up now, because I didn't give up. Now, if this adversary had made me this sick in the beginning, this place would have been in trouble. But he failed because I got sick late on. I did get sick early in my journey here, but late on before it expressed itself in this big way. And because it was late on before it expressed itself in this big way, this place is now just a massive snowball of love. And even if I wanted to give up, what I've set in motion's in motion. And I think that adversary has also held his hands up and said, shit. Because I see that other people in my team come under attack in very peculiar and bizarre ways, the same way that I do. Things happen to them that don't happen to other people, and it slows them down. But the problem you've got here now is the way God has guided me to do this, the way Spirit has made this beautiful creation, which is Share Tanzania, it's rolling. And it's rolling here in Tanzania, it's rolling in social media, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And he keeps throwing obstacles up, and they just get sucked up into the balls and just get chucked out further down the road. Now, I felt like giving up over the years a few times. But imagine if I'd quit. It wouldn't have gathered its momentum. Now, even now, if I wanted to pull away, I lose momentum. My YouTube channel is about to approach 100k subscribers. It's amazing. A year ago, it was like 15,000 or some 10,000, something like that. So that momentum is traveling as well. And I don't want that momentum to stop, which is why I told everybody about making videos when I'm not feeling well. But if I had given up, this wouldn't be happening. If he'd given up, he wouldn't be here. And thus, never give up is the long and short of what I'm saying. Don't give up. It will get better, because bad shit happens in the dark, and that sun's about to set. When it does, a lot of this place around here, you don't want to be there in the dark, because the bad comes in the dark. But one thing I know is that it'll rise again. And these are the simple and profound and deep truths you learn about the whole sphere and workings of life, just by taking a time, a sacred time every day like I do. This is my sacred time. And I'm interrupting it for this video, so you should be grateful for that. But this is my sacred time. Here, with the sun. Here with Jesus, as the word pertains. Jesus, 888 in Greek numerology, the word Jesus created by the Greeks, which means sun in the sky. I'm here with the Son of God. And as I watch that sun pass tonight, I know in my mind, as I say goodnight, that it will rise again. And just as the bad stuff happens and you feel like giving up, you can look at something like that and you can really think to yourself, it doesn't matter, because I know how reality works. And I know right now the sun has set on my health. But I know it'll rise again. And I watch with very grateful eyes as this sun sets. And I wonder if I should adapt myself to have very grateful eyes as the sun sets on my health, because when it rises again, I'll be all the more stronger, all the more cautious, and all the more knowledgeable. But if I give up and forget that it will rise again, I wouldn't be here. This wouldn't be here. All these children wouldn't be eating tonight, wouldn't be sleeping safe tonight. They wouldn't be able to sleep easy without any concern. We've got the Maasai warriors around, the armed guards around. No worries of witch doctors, nothing, no concerns. In this compound, there's no concerns at the moment. Maybe there's a few financial concerns. But it all happens because you don't give up. The same way he's here guarding me every night and every day, because he too never gave up. So don't give up, even when times are crap, even when you feel unwell. And I've had a permanent headache for 5 days as I lay here now. I feel like absolute shite, and I feel like throwing in the towel. But if you don't, somehow your life provides reasons not to, and that makes it easier. The longer you push, the longer you fight, the longer you stay on your feet, or the longer you get back up even, the more times you get back up, the more opportunity you have to grow in your life, and the more strength you have, and the more opportunities you have to remind you why you should not give up. But if you're struggling with finding opportunities for why you should not give up, Watch the sun. Watch it as it relentlessly shines on you. And despite the fact that the night comes and the winter comes and the dark comes and the cloud comes, the sun doesn't stop shining. When all of that clears and the cloud clears, there it is, just doing its thing. And that's how we should all be. When the clouds clear, you should always be intact behind it all. Just doing your thing. Shining on. Love you all. Bye.
Floating in the ocean, heart beating like a drum. I sing and